Welcome back to the channel. Monica Louv here at the Love Messages. So today we are going to be doing your reading from the 21st to the 28th of May. This is going to be a general reading, so it may resonate, it may not. If you're looking for a private reading, all of the links for that will be in the description box below. Libra, in this reading, I'm going to be taking a look at past, present, and future for you. I'm going to clarify the cards and pull some advice. Okay, King of Cups energy. So some of you are dealing with a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, that's coming through. Or this simply can be you. Okay, so your challenge, King of Wands, maybe a fire sign. I'm getting a Sagittarius, maybe a Leo that you're dealing with. Sun, Moon, or Rising. Bottom of the deck, you have the Four of Wands, okay? So your challenge, Libra, is a particular person. I'm getting that right away. I don't feel this is you. I feel like this is somebody that you're dealing with, okay? It's been very challenging to deal with this person. I'm not quite sure why until I clarify. But they've been a challenge to deal with, okay? And we're going to talk about it in a moment. Now, in the recent past, you have the Page of Cups, the Chariot, and you have the Two of Swords, okay? So in the recent past, I do get a sense here that many of you decided to move on from a situation in your life. You started to close yourself off from this person. The reason why you may have decided to close yourself off from this person was because maybe they did something to you that maybe made you question whether or not you wanted to really give this person a second chance. I do get a sense here that somebody apologized in the past. They may have said, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry if I offended you, or I'm sorry if I did this to you or that to you. And as a result of that, you may have decided here in the past to close yourself off and move on from this, okay? We're going to find out more information when we clarify in a moment. Now, in the present moment, you have the Queen of Swords, you have the Ten of Cups, and you have the Empress. So in the present moment, I do feel that you are expressing here, okay? You're expressing something. What are you expressing? Well, many of you are expressing what you want, how you feel about a particular connection. You have an expectation for the future, how you want your family to be, how you want your children to be if you have children, or how you see yourself having children. You ultimately have this expression of the Ten of Cups, right? With the Empress. So there's an expectation here in the present moment. Maybe you feel that you're expressing yourself, your needs, wants, and desires, and they aren't being met, or this person isn't acknowledging them. That's what I'm intuitively picking up. But of course, when I clarify, I can get more information on that. Okay. So in the near future, you have the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Judgment, and you have the Magician. Okay. So in the near future, I do get a sense here there's going to be a new opportunity coming into your life, okay? A completely new opportunity coming in with the Ace of Pentacles. I feel like you're manifesting this in the near future, and something's coming to your attention unexpectedly that you need to be aware of, and we're going to talk about that in a moment, okay? So let's hop into your reading, Libra. Let's clarify all the cards, and let's see what's going on for you. Okay, we have one card that doesn't belong in that deck. All right, let's clarify your challenge. Okay, so the King of Wands is clarified by the Page of Wands, the Justice, and the Two of Cups, okay? So your biggest challenge here has a lot to do with a relationship. That's so obvious, it's so clear, okay? Many of you are dating a fire sign, Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I'm getting a Pisces, maybe another Libra. Aries is also strong here too. Now, if you are a rising Libra and you're watching this, this is going to have a huge impact on your relationships. Even if you're not a rising Libra, maybe you're a sun Libra or a moon Libra, this is going to directly be opposing your sun, your moon, or your rising, okay, in Aries. So what does this mean? Your challenge has a lot to do with recognizing certain things in your relationship that are unfair. Okay. There's certain things, maybe the division of labor, maybe the, the balance within the connection needs to be revised, reviewed here. So your challenge has a lot to do with a particular person, whether you're married, dating, casually being with this person, whatever. Really determining if this is the type of person that you see yourself being in a relationship with long-term, whether you're in a relationship with them now or you plan to be. Because what is happening is when all these planets, okay, and particularly Venus, Neptune, and then Saturn, when Saturn enters into Aries, there's going to be a lot of this really reevaluating your relationship, right? Or relationships. And really determining, are these relationships bringing the fairness that I'm looking for within my connections? Or am I the one shouldering most of the burden and most of the responsibility? Am I giving more to the situation than the situation is giving back to me? And this is what the Justice is talking about. The Justice is talking about balance and fairness, right? And that means that if a situation in your life is not balanced now, it's probably not going to become more balanced in the future, right? So, your challenge here has a lot to do with really looking at this person for who they are, not for what you want them to be, but who they really are, and ask yourself, do I see myself really investing in having a new beginning with this person? Do I see myself being in a serious relationship with this person? Do I see myself continuing being in a serious relationship with this person? Because when Saturn enters into Aries, especially if you're a rising Libra, this is going to have a big impact on how you respond to your partner. Your partner needs to be able to be responsible. They need to be able to make the right decisions, and not only just the right decisions, but fair decisions that work in both your favor and their favor. Right now, there's something that's out of balance. And this is the biggest challenge, right? Because a lot of you want to be in a relationship with this person, or you want to continue being in a relationship with this person, particularly because you want the relationship to move into a new direction. But before you decide to do that, make sure that it is fair. Make sure that it is equal. Because if it's not equal, just remember who you are. I can reiterate who you are. You're a Libra. You need balance. If somebody's coming into your life and they're not giving you balance, it will affect you in other areas of your life. It could affect your work, your job, your family, etc. Okay, so for many of you, what this energy is talking about is it's talking about making sure, and one of the things I want you to look at, because for me, when I'm doing readings, I don't just look at the cards. I feel my intuition, and I also look at the cards, but I look at the details within the cards because it will give me some sort of signage in terms of what's happening. If you look at this card and you see the lines that are going up to the angel here, they look like devil horns, right? So some of you are getting involved with somebody here who is out of balance for you. They're showing you this. They're doing certain things that are making you question the relationship, that are making you question their, just their view in general, right? So for many of you, you want to move into a new direction with this person, but you need to reevaluate if this is 100% how you want to go inside of this relationship, okay? And with these devil horns here, some of you are getting involved in a relationship, pretending like everything is fine, when really there's certain things that you need to address. As soon as Saturn enters into Aries, there will be things that you need to address. Maybe you're not addressing them now, but you will eventually feel that you need to address them because you don't want the relationship to become toxic. Okay. And this is going to be a big part of your challenge because I know a lot of you want to keep the status quo. You may not want to say anything to this person. You just want to kind of ride it out. But if there are things that are bothering you, it's important that you address them moving forward. Okay. And this is going to be a big part of your challenge. Okay. Now let's talk about the recent past. Okay, so in the recent past, you have the Chariot, okay? And the Chariot is clarified by the Two of Swords, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Ten of Wands, okay? So in the recent past, I do get a sense here that in your life, there were certain things in your life that started to become extremely difficult for you. Okay. There started to become burdens, responsibilities, expectations, whether that's in a relationship or just in your day-to-day life. For some of you, a certain work situation started to get difficult, or just a partnership started to become difficult. And you may have decided here in the past to close yourself off from the situation. Okay. And by you closing yourself off in the past, Libra, it really allowed you to bring this form of self-preservance to your situation, to really get clear on what needed to change here in the past. I do get a sense here that you left, or you disconnected, or you decided to move forward with things even though they seemed to start to become very difficult in the past. Okay. So things may have started to really become a little bit, but you may have said, oh, I'm going to stick with this because, I believe it's going to get better. Now, you also have the Page of Cups here in the past. That is clarified by the King of Cups, the Four of Cups, and the Nine of Cups. So in the recent past, I do get a sense here that you were dealing with somebody who, this person appeared one way, but deep down inside, they were completely different energy. Some of you were dealing with a Gemini here in the past, or a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. There was this feeling in the past when it came to this person that they acted as if they weren't really interested in you, which really made you question, right? Because at one point, this person was really loving, open, supportive, interested in you. And then all of a sudden, the energy went from 100 to, 50%, right? So, why did this happen? It happened because a lot of you started to feel rejected by this person, okay? They started to do certain things that really made you question, right? Like, I don't know about this person. I feel kind of rejected. I feel like this person doesn't, they don't really care, or, their attitude started to change here in the past. So, and by the way, these were red flags that were showing up in the past that a lot of you ignored. I'm just going to keep it real. There's certain things that this person was doing, or the environment, that you noticed certain things, and you may have said, oh, it's fine. It's not a big deal. It's fine. And then it started to become more intense here. So in the recent past, you have the Two of Swords here again twice. So you started to slowly move away from this person or disconnect from this person. That is clarified by the Page of Swords, the Star, and the Four of Pentacles. Yeah. So even though you didn't completely disconnect 100% from this person, you started to maybe just focus on yourself, your dreams, your goals, but you also started to really reevaluate this person, really look at them and question, right? There was a lot of questioning here. Is this person really for me? Are they the one? So as much as you saw red flags here in the past, you didn't really care until this person started to do things that were in conjunction with these red flags, which made you start to believe, well, maybe this person doesn't really like me. Maybe they are only in it because maybe there's something that I can offer. But either way, there was inconsistency here when it came to love in the past. And a lot of you started to focus on what you could control here in the past, maybe your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, and you started to slowly close yourself off to this person. Maybe you weren't always as available to them as you usually were, right? Maybe before you were texting all the time with them and talking all the time, and then you started to pull your energy back because you noticed that certain energies within this person started to change, okay? And this is what I feel happened in the past. It's very detailed, very specific. This is what I feel happened in the past. Okay, let's talk about the present moment. Let's clarify all the cards. Okay, so the Queen of Swords, which I feel is you're showing up here at the top of your reading. That's clarified by the King of Wands, the Three of Wands, and the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, so this is your challenge. This is your person, the Sagittarius you're dealing with, or Leo, Aries, maybe a Virgo here. The issue right now in the present moment when it comes to you and this person, somebody, and I don't know if this is you, I feel it's you, there's a strong need for independence in the present moment. Okay, a lot of you are saying, I need my independence. I need to focus on me. I need to focus on myself. The reason why this is showing up right now for you, Libra, is because you and this person, I feel that you and this person, you have a different vision for the future, and this person has a different vision for the future. And how are you going to know that? You're going to know that based on what happened in the past. In the past, if things were difficult and you were trying to make them work, and no matter how much you tried to make the situation work, it just ended up being more difficult. You're at a crossroads right now, okay? Some of you, there's two stories here. Some of you see this person, you want to be in a relationship with them, but you may have to give up your independence. And that may be something that you are still trying to determine whether or not you're going to be doing that for this person. Why? Because the Three of Wands is here. And the Three of Wands is about our goals. It's about milestones in our lives. Does this person merit you giving up your freedom to commit to them 100%? That's where you're at right now. Because like I said, when Saturn enters into Aries, it's going to either oppose your sun, your moon, or your rising. And whatever's opposing you is the other person. It's the other person that you're dealing with. So this is the question that you're asking about right now. Is this person somebody worthy of me giving up everything to be with? For some of you, the answer is no. For others of you, you're still in this place of, well, maybe, right? So you have the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is clarified by the 10 of Pentacles, the 5 of Cups, and the Strength. The fear here right now for many of you, okay, is that if you put your all into this, okay, because I feel many of you watching this, you're single, you're dating someone, and there's a lot of potential here for you two to be together. If you're already in a relationship with this person, that's a different story, okay? And I'll go there after, but I think for majority of you watching this, you're single, you're on your own, you're dating, you see somebody with a lot of potential, but you're worried. I think one of the things that is really affecting your decision in the present moment is if things fail, 5 of Cups. For some of you, things have already failed. Okay. And you're in this place now where you're saying, I don't know if this is for me, right? Some of you are questioning that. But if you're just going into this and you're saying, well, what if this fails? What if it doesn't work out the way that I want it to? Then what? Right? So this is where you're at right now. You have the Empress as well. That is clarified by the Death, the 3 of Pentacles, and the Tower. Yeah. The fear here is, well, what if things just abruptly end? What if the relationship ends? What if we can't cooperate with one another? There's all these question marks, right? And I think the main message here for you, Libra, is to ask yourself, well, have this person and I built a strong connection, foundation within our relationship? Because if you haven't built that strong foundation, and it goes back to your challenge that I mentioned, which is if this person's coming in and they're not bringing balance into your life, if they're not making your life easier, if they're making you work harder, if they're not doing things from a fair perspective, if things look on the surface that they're not fair, then you need to look at those red flags before you commit 100%. Because if you commit to this person 100% and you turn around and you say, well, I didn't know that, I didn't think that they were going to do this, you already had the red flags show up for you in the past. It's just a matter of you honoring them, because I know many of you want a relationship, you want to be with somebody. That's your challenge, right? Your challenge is, well, I want to keep this relationship, or I want to be married, or I want to look like I'm in love, right? I don't want to look like I'm single. But that's not enough to commit yourself 100% to somebody that you're still questioning whether or not they're the one. Okay. And if you are already in a relationship, the reason why for many of you, why it's crumbling and why there's a lack of cooperation here in the present moment is because once Saturn enters into Aries, your expectations within partnerships are going to change. You're going to start saying to yourself, well, you know what? This person needs to pull their own weight. They need to bring more prosperity into my life. They need to be more serious with me, especially if you're dealing with people who have put you in situationships. If you've been dealing with people who've been putting you in situationships, listen, after the month of May, there's going to be no more of that, because there's going to be something inside of you that's going to say, you know what? I deserve better than this. I deserve better than just the bare minimum. I deserve better than mediocre. I deserve better than going all the way out of my way for someone and they only do half, right? Or they only do a quarter of what I'm doing for them. So the question here in the present moment is, are you willing to give up your freedom to commit yourself 100% to somebody? And if it fails, are you going to be okay with that? Because if the answer is no, then maybe you still need to reevaluate if this is something for you. Okay. And of course, the Six of Swords is at the bottom of the deck. So in the present moment, some of you are questioning, should I go? Should I just disconnect from this person altogether? Some of you have disconnected from a particular person in your life because they're treating you as an option, or they're maybe only putting in 10% while you put in 90%. So why should you get involved with somebody who's only giving you 10%? I think you deserve 100%. Why 90%? Or why 10%? Well, you put in 90%, right? So this is what's happening in the present moment, okay? Now, let's talk about the near future. Let's clarify all the cards. Okay, so at the top of your reading, in the near future, you have the Judgment, which means you are going through a major awakening. You're going to realize something huge here, something that you don't know now. It's going to come to your attention. That is clarified by the Four of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles. When you realize that this person is keeping you as an option, I couldn't even say that. Somebody here is keeping you as an option. They see you as somebody that they could be with, or they don't need to be with, right? Because I'm really picking up on those of you who have been in situationships, or you've been dealing with a partner that's really just been giving you, bare minimum. Okay. If you've been dealing with people who are just giving you bare minimum, you need to recognize who you are and what you truly deserve. In the near future, the Judgment here with the Four of Wands is making you realize what kind of relationship that you want. Okay, this is what you don't see coming, the Four of Wands as well, and it's there in the near future. What you're realizing is you have a specific expectation. If somebody comes into your life and they cannot match your energy, or they cannot bring more to you than you could bring yourself, a lot of you are going to recognize that this isn't for you, okay? Six of Swords is here. Six of Swords is here. Yeah. Six of Swords is here in the near future, which is indicating that a lot of you are going to be choosing to walk away from somebody. And you're walking away from someone because you saw the red flags in the past. They were doing certain things that weren't matching your energy. They weren't bringing you the things that you deserved in your life here. So you are maybe questioning this person. Now, when this person sees that you walk away and you disconnect and you act like you don't care, this person comes running back to you. Oh, Libra, because they don't want to lose you, because they know how much energy, effort, how much of pure energy you're bringing into the connection, right? And they're going to make an offer to you. Okay. Or you're going to have two offers. You're going to have one from the person from the past, and you're going to have a new offer. Okay. When you walk away from this person, which you will, some of you have already done this, or you're in the process, when you finally walk away from the situation, this person's going to feel that they've lost a huge opportunity, and you're going to be moving on to either someone new or doing something new in general. I do feel there is a separation here in the near future. Okay. With the Magician and the Two of Wands, there is a separation here because many of you, Six of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords, you've been giving way too much to the relationship. There's a lack of balance here. And when Saturn enters into Aries, it's going to make you feel that you only want to deal with people who are bringing this energy of responsibility into your life. When we talk about responsibility, that means you should know, if you're coming into a relationship with someone, that you need to give at least 50% of the energy into the relationship. If somebody's doing 90% and you're only putting in 10% and you want this person to grovel all over you, the answer is no. So a lot of you are going to learn in the near future, you need to have respect for yourself. You need to keep your standards high and leave them at that dial of being high. Because as soon as you lower your expectations down and you start to look desperate, this person says, oh, Libra's desperate. I can get her anytime. I can get him anytime. So you need to keep those standards high, because what you're doing energetically when you keep your standards high, you're telling the environment, our realm. I don't want to say universe. I want to say our realm, because this is where we're at now. Okay. We're in a realm. It's a video game. It's a matrix, and we are creating our matrix for ourselves. So as soon as we lower that bar, we're ultimately sending out sound waves into our environment that are saying, I'm cheap. I want anybody can come and be with me. And the answer to that is no, Libra, no. Okay. The answer to that is, you have standards, they need to meet you here. If they're not meeting you here, guess what? There will be a new opportunity, a new person that comes in and sees that your standards are here, and those frequencies that you're sending out into the realm are going to start needing to match what you want. And this is what leads to the true and perfect marriage, commitment, and relationship, whether you're with somebody or not. Okay? Because what you need is you need someone who's going to cooperate with you, someone who's going to bring warmth to your life, not darkness, not pain. As soon as you see the sign of pain, don't ignore it. Because as soon as you ignore that, that is what leads to more difficulties in the future, okay? This is a warning. I feel like it's a warning reading for you after we move into that change on the 25th with Saturn in your 7th house, okay? Or Saturn opposed your sun, moon, or rising. So let's get some advice. What's the advice? Okay, the advice is the Queen of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. Ooh, I love this. Okay, so your biggest piece of advice here is to recognize your value. This is what the Queen of Pentacles is. You are the Queen of Pentacles. Some of you have maybe a Taurus, a Capricorn, or a Virgo energy somewhere in your chart. Maybe you have a stellium there, or you're rising in some way, shape, or form. This is about recognizing that new love is going to come into your life, or a new beginning within the relationship that you're already in is going to come in for you. But the biggest piece of advice for you, Libra, right now is to recognize your value. If you don't know what you're bringing to the table, if you don't know the value that you bring to this person's life and you discredit that within yourself, whether you're doing it consciously or subconsciously, this is what changes the dynamic of a relationship. This changes the level of respect you receive. It changes the fairness within your relationship. It changes a lot of things. But when you start to put yourself back on the pedestal and you let the universe, the world, the realm know how much you're bringing in value, whether that's physical, spiritual, emotional, energetic value to the connection, that's when you're going to be able to bring and not bring, but attract the right person into your life. Because again, I feel like I'm speaking to singles here. If you're in a relationship, this may not be your reading. If you've left a relationship, it may be your reading as well. But either way, your biggest piece of advice here is not to forget your value. Your value is what you believe you're bringing to a connection. And because you're a Libra, you bring a lot to a connection. That's your essence, that's your nature. But you can only attract the right person into your life when you continuously remember the value you bring. As soon as you drop your expectations, you drop your standards, you start to say, oh, that's fine. This person did this to me. Oh, it's fine. And you let it go. You're not looking at the red flags. Listen, a relationship should be fun. It should be light. It should be warm. It should be fulfilling. It should make you feel more confident. If it's chipping away at your confidence, if it's chipping away at the very essence of what you bring to it, the message here is it's not for you. Okay. And remember, your biggest piece of advice here is that even if one relationship doesn't work out, hun, there's always a new opportunity for a new one to come in for you, and one that's better. Okay. So Libra, this is what I have for you. I hope this reading helped. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.